Hi guys, welcome to another video with Mel. Those of you who have been watching for a while know I like to try new things, and I had an opportunity when we went into lockdown to start a new hobby. So I thought I'd share that hobby with you and show you where about I've gotten with things on it. I'm not perfect at it by any means. I'm still learning, but I thought I'd share with you what I've kind of learned over the last few months. So I started sewing in March. I was able to take an online class from our local adult education where I live, and they were doing a free online sewing class for 10 weeks and then another 4. So I did it for 14 weeks total. It has been really useful for me. I've always wanted to learn how to sew. Never been able to find the time to do it though, because you've always had other things going on. But with the extra time from the pandemic, and I always have summers off, I found that I had time to actually learn. So I want to show you some of the things I've made. As I said, I'm not a great sewer by any means. I'm still learning. And every time I do a new garment, I'm learning new skills, so it is a learning process. Nothing looks professionally made. If you like put these garments in a shop, you would be able to tell that they don't really belong there and they've been handmade. But I think that's kind of the mark of stuff when you start sewing and are still getting used to it. You might not be able to sew perfectly straight. You might slightly mess up in places. You might have to unpick things. You might not make things perfectly the first time. You might choose the wrong fabric. And there's loads of things to learn. So I thought, I haven't done a video about it yet, so I thought it might be a useful thing to try and show you guys how I'm doing with this. And if you guys do crafts yourself, you can tell me about what you guys make. Maybe you make jewelry, maybe you do sewing yourself, maybe you crochet, or maybe you knit. I'd love to see the projects you guys are working on as well. I've always wanted to be a creative person that could do these kinds of things, but I've never had the kind of training or the time to do them. I think I briefly learned how to crochet when I was a kid and made a couple Barbie blankets and dresses, but nothing serious. So it's a completely different kind of thing for me to be learning, and I'm also now addicted to buying fabric, unfortunately. If you look behind me, you can see 2 hampers and a table that is now my sewing table. My sewing machine sitting over to the side of me, but those all contain all my sewing supplies and fabric. And I found some great places to buy fabric in the UK, some great places online that cater for really cool fabric. They're not paying for promotion, but I love Pound a Meter. It's really great, really cheap place to buy thread. That's been a great one for me. And Flamingo Fabrics is another one that I've gotten really cool designs on. So I've enjoyed shopping at both of those over this time. Yeah, and I just want to show you some of the things that I've gotten. So my first project I did not keep because it was so bad. So I'm going to show you my second project. The first project was to make a sewing roll. It turned out really badly and I broke 2 needles. So literally the first time I sewed something, I managed to break a needle and had to replace it. So I quickly learned how to actually do that because I had no idea. The last time I sewed something was in high school. I did a home economics class. I made some stuffed animals in it. Don't know why we chose to do that instead of making garments, but that's what we did. So the first thing I made, and actually this thing came out really great, was a shopping bag. So yeah, I think I got this fabric off eBay. Yeah, so it's got some handles. It was supposed to have an internal lining, but I got lazy and didn't want to cut out more fabric and waste any more fabric on it. And it does look fairly pretty good. It definitely looks homemade. If you kind of look at some of the stitching, you notice that the thread on the opposite side is actually a different color than this one. I ran out of the black thread and had to use a different color. And I couldn't be bothered to go buy a new one, so I just stayed with what I had. It's not very noticeable, but it does function as a bag. The bottom is kind of turned out. I used a chopstick to kind of turn out the edges. But yeah, it is a functional bag. Inside, the stitching's a lot better. And it looks like a decent thing. You could definitely buy this from like a little local shop. it looks professional enough, and this is literally the second thing I sewed, so I'm pretty happy with that. So this was a pretty easy project because it was mostly just sewing 2 pieces of square together and then putting the handles on and sewing down them so they became a bit more sturdy. So really easy project to start with, and I definitely needed that because the first thing I did was a sewing roll, and it was multiple pieces of fabric and it was a lot. This was much easier. So that's the first thing I made. The second thing I made was a bit of a fail. I don't think I will ever wear this, but I'm going to keep it because it's the first garment I actually made. Now, it's hard to see from this, but this is actually a skirt. It was meant to be longer, but I made a major problem. I actually messed up like the top part of it when I was doing it, and I messed up my darts entirely. So instead of starting completely over or unpicking the whole thing, I just cut the darts off because that worked actually. The skirt was actually slightly too big for me, so cutting off the darts actually made it fit me a little bit better. So I had to do darts for the first time. If you look inside, you can see hopefully kind of that they're there. I also had to do like the top band and sew that over. And I had to put in a zip for the first time. I don't think I ever put in a zip in home economics. It is not pretty by any means on the inside, but it looks okay from the outside. I can't see myself ever wearing this skirt though, because it looks horrendous. It's fine for like a first project, but literally the zip is slightly too high. It sticks out. I like the idea of contrasting color, but it does stick out like a sore thumb, and it just has no shape to it. It's a really ugly skirt. But it's the first garment I ever made, and I am quite proud of myself. I did like stick with it a lot. It took me a while to get it done. Even though it looks like a pretty simple thing that you're just slapping 2 bits of fabric together, it's not, believe me. It's quite hard to do. The second thing I made, I was actually a bit more ambitious and made quite a lot of. So the second thing I made was some face masks. So I made this bunny one. Try them on. This one here looks pretty good. I did try and do one with the pleats, but I couldn't get it to work. It just didn't want to sit right. I did 2 of the bunny ones. Also made one for my partner. There is no thing in the bridge of the nose though. This is what I found later on, that this presents a problem because you get this big gap. So later on, other ones I've made, I've actually like taken the little bits out of disposable masks and put them into the ones that I'm making, so they're kind of reused rather than just throwing them in the bin. I just wait a few days and take them off once the mask has been used and the virus comes off. So this is the last one I made. I love this fabric. I'm going to make more masks with this fabric because I have a little bit of it left, but I really like it. But this is another face mask I made. They do have internal linings, as I had to use the bunny print inside because I didn't have very much of this one. And you can put the lining in. As you can see, I'll show you some face masks I made later on. I didn't cut any of the edges of this fabric off, so it's not really well done. There's a lot of excess fabric inside. I just didn't trim it. I didn't think about doing that because I was just like, oh, it'll be fine. But actually, I found like, I haven't worn the first ones I made, but the other ones I made, I found that's really annoying, so I've had to trim it. So that's what I made next, with some face masks. I made, I think, about 5 of them. I gave some away. My partner has some. I gave some to friends. So I made 5 of them. I think the stitching on them is pretty good. I tried to match the fabric color in most of them. I didn't do as much on the other ones. You can see some loose threads here and there, but I think it looks pretty decent. The inside is more of a mess, but the outside, you wouldn't be able to tell that someone else had made them. You might think you probably got them off Etsy, but you can see like there, my stitch lines all over the place. But it's a process, learning how to do stuff. The next thing I had was, I was much more ambitious, and I haven't worn this thing. I probably will not wear it, it's funny enough, because it makes me look like I'm wearing a sack. I really wanted it to turn out well. I tried really hard to make it turn out well, and the pattern I had for it was really cute, and I was so disappointed. But yeah, I made a jumpsuit. And you're like, really? You went from making a really bad skirt and face mask to making a jumpsuit? Yep, apparently I did. So I made this Disney jumpsuit. So there was lots of things I did for the first time. So joining 2 bits of garment together. So the top and the bottom I did for the first time. I put elastic in the waistband for the first time. I did hems on the edges for the first time. I did cuffs, arms. This was slightly different than the pattern said to do, but I kind of like that difference in the outside fabric being in on show, so I like that. I put a clasp in the back, which I did backwards by mistake because I'm not very smart, and realized afterwards I was like, I ain't changing it. And then I had to put this bit inside. This is why I don't like the jumpsuit, because this bit always sticks up. And I'm not sure how you get the like flappy bit that is supposed to stop your like the edge of the seam from showing down all the way without just ironing it like crazy. I ironed this so much, and it's been through the washing machine now and also gone and just been hanging in my wardrobe, but it's still wrinkly as anything. This fabric wrinkles like crazy. But this was really stiff fabric when I started out, and actually I made the huge mistake of picking a really stiff fabric, and it was too stiff for the actual look I was going for. I needed something a lot more loose, but the fabric I picked was way too stiff. This would have been great as a dress, and I do have some of this fabric left, but I don't think I have enough to make a full dress. I might have enough to make a skirt though, so I might do that, or maybe I will try and chop the shorts bit off, because this was a pain in the butt, and you can see the pants on this I messed up so many times and had to redo and unstitch. It drove me crazy, and it's still not very good. But yeah, this was my first time making any kind of trousers or shorts or pants at the bottom, and it was so difficult. If you look internally, there's like loads of different fabrics on top of each other. They're like stiff now because they've been pushed together so much, but it was really hard to do. But I'm really glad I made it, because it was a hard thing to accomplish. I do love the fabric, even though it might end up getting chopped up and made into something else. It is really nice fabric. I got this from Flamingo Fabrics. They do other kind of Disney prints, but I love this fabric. But it was a good learning process for me. So that was the jumpsuit I made. That was the next thing I made. And then the next thing I made, and this is going to sound ridiculous, I actually made two of the same skirts. One is slightly bigger than the other. So when I made the first skirt, I realized it was too big for me. And even though I take my measurements and I'd given myself, I thought I'm going to be one of the biggest sizes because I'm a UK 16, and I thought, oh, I'm going to need a bigger size, because actually the sizes on sewing patterns are usually smaller than the actual sizes we get in shops. I thought I was going to be a much bigger size, and actually I probably could have went down 2 sizes, and when I made the new skirt I did go down 2 sizes. I probably could have went down another one. So I made a skirt. I'll show you the first one. Now I really love this skirt, and I've got 2 of them now, as you can see. They look exactly the same. So this was the first time I did pockets. So each of the skirts has pockets in it, and you can turn them out and see the pockets on there. So they've got pockets on the insides, and they're sewn to the skirt. It's actually a really easy pattern to do it. The other thing is I had to do an elastic waist again. This one turned out a lot better than the jumpsuit one did. I did have to add quite a lot of elastic because, as I said, it was too big, and the only way I could make it work was to make the elastic much shorter so it clung to my waist. I also had to do something called gathering, which is where you bring the fabric together, which I'd never done before, and I had to look up on YouTube on how to figure out how to do it, because we never learned it in my sewing class. But it was something I had to learn in order to make the skirt, and now I'm really comfortable with it. So things like darts and gathering seem like they're going to be really hard, but actually once you've done them a couple times, it's not so bad. So made that, and then I made a second one and a smaller size because the other one was too big. So my plan with the other one, oh, and I also did the hems at the bottom, which look really good. I love this fabric, by the way. I've also made some masks out of it. The plan was to take one of those skirts, the bigger one, and attach this top to it to make it a dress. And these were from 2 different patterns. I thought I can put it together. So this top has a lining inside of it as well. I used a different type of fabric because I didn't have enough of this cloud fabric to do everything, and you shouldn't be able to see it once it's ironed. I'll just show you what it looks like if I put it over my shirt. So it kind of goes around like that, and it would be like tight on the bodice. The problem is I didn't measure right, and it's slightly too small. So I decided there's no point in actually attaching it to the skirt because it doesn't fit. I mean, it barely fits me right now. I probably could get it on with the zip, but it's just slightly too tight because this has to be able to go together and have a zip inserted in it. And it would be really tight on me. Literally probably like not being able to breathe type tight. But I did learn quite a lot from making this. So first of all, I had to do darts again. So you can see there are darts, and they're probably more obvious on the top than they were on the skirt. Darts along the bust line here. There's also darts, I think, in the back. Yeah, there's darts along the back as well here. So I had to do quite a lot of those, and I was much more comfortable with them. You can see on the inside as well, where the darts and where they kind of link up at. I was much more comfortable with it the second time. I also had to turn this inside out as a garment. So when you sew things together, you end up turning them inside out. So like everything had to go through these bits at the top here, and I had to pull the whole thing through. And I don't have the correct tool for doing it. I can't remember what it's called. But I found online you could use a chopstick to do it. So I've been doing that with some really long chopsticks we got from Japan years ago. So yeah, so I made a little top that unfortunately does not fit me. It's a little too tight. If it does fit me at some point, I will attach it to the skirt and have a full garment. And then I made some more face masks because I thought actually I want some more. So these ones are kind of later ones I did. This is one I did and I haven't went back through and changed it yet. So this really cute cat pattern I got is like fabric, little squares. I haven't changed it yet, so I've just literally put an extra piece of elastic there to hold on my head, because I don't know if you guys find with face masks, especially if the elastic is quite thick, it cuts into your ears. But if you actually put it around the back of your head, it's actually more comfortable. So I literally just attached a piece of elastic. I need to unattach this elastic and put new ones in. So you can see as well, this one has been through the washing machine, so some of the threads are starting to fray. I might need to go over this with the machine again so it's doesn't have those raw edges. I thought it would probably be fine, but this one's got something in the nose, one of the little plastic bits from a disposable face mask that gives it a lot more shape, and so it's a lot better forming, and it actually fits a lot better because of that. So yeah, so also has pockets to put your filters in, and that was like the next attempt at them. Then I got really smart and I realized if you just put elastic across both sides, you can put it around the whole of your head. So you can literally put it around, put your hair back. You do sometimes get a little bump on your hair, but it's not a problem. And if you put it around like that, it doesn't cut in your ears. So I figured out that, and I made a bunch of face masks like that. So I did some more with a little cloud pattern. I think I've got 2 masks like this now. Also have some Shiba dog ones. These are Japanese ones. This is my favorite one. I've got another one of these as well. I think it's in the wash right now. But yeah, so I love this pattern. It's called a Walk in Tokyo, and it's cute. It's got little Shiba dogs on it, and arches, and Tokyo Tower. So really cute. Once again, with the elastic at the back. Much more comfortable if you've never made a face mask. And I just got the pattern offline. I literally just searched face masks. I was very lazy and just used the same blue thread for everything. So this is the one I made with the Disney fabric. The inside is the cloud stuff because I had more of that fabric kind of laying around. I messed one up, so you can see I cut it wrong, so I used it as the inside bit. Doesn't matter too much, but yeah, you can see it's getting a little bit better, my work on that. And then this is the one I made for Halloween. It might be too thin because the fabric on this is a much more kind of like silky cotton, and it's quite thin, but I might still try it and see if it is comfortable to wear. But yeah, you can see I love this fabric as well with the tiny little skeletons on it. I'm going to make a skirt with this as well, I think. Or a dress if I have enough. I think I've only got enough for a skirt though, because it was more on the pricey side, that fabric. But yeah, so this has been my hobby for the last few months, and I find it quite relaxing to do as well. It's quite a fun little task. Even if you're just making something small, you feel like you're getting something out of it by being able to make something yourself. And I think I've learned a lot about sewing that I didn't learn when I tried to do it in the first place when I was younger. And I think it's a really useful hobby to have. So if any of you guys are doing crafty projects like this, let me know. Show them off in the comments. You can link me to your YouTube channels as well if you want to show them off to me. And if you have any suggestions on anything you think would be quite easy for me to make, I get a few sewing magazines a month, and I've got various different patterns I'm going to try out. I do want to try and make a full-on dress soon, so that's something else. So you can leave that in the suggestions in the comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. We're looking at trying to get to 700 subscribers, working our way up. I'm also gaming on Twitch most Wednesdays and Saturdays at 7:30 UK time. I've moved it back a little bit just to kind of fit in with my scheduling a bit better, and that's at Fangirl at Twitch, same name as the YouTube. And you can follow me there as well. I'm currently trying to become an affiliate, so I'm at, I think, 33 subscribers, so I'm nearly getting to 50, so if you guys can follow me there, that would be a big help. Okay, thanks guys for watching. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm a ghost. I didn't mean to scare you there. I just wanted to tell you about a book I really like called Becoming Death that you might want to check out if you love spooky things around Halloween just like me. The book is by Melissa Brown, or as you may know her, Fangirl Mel, and you can buy it on Amazon. Here's a book. Oh my god. It's a book. Becoming Death by Melissa Brown. You can find it on Amazon. It's about Grim Reapers. Wow! Those are really scary, don't you think? So you find out what happens when your whole family are Grim Reapers, and you gotta become one as well. Sounds spooky to me. Might be something you might enjoy this Halloween season. Don't be too scared, like me. I'm always scared of everything. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.